Because I know that we're trying to present it.
Thank you.
Then you could say, oh man, maybe that's something to learn. But it's like, oh, I think it would universally be agreed upon by the officers, by citizens, as
For our last poet, his poetry has appeared in several anthologies and online journals, and he has 2 poetry collections, Glass Awash and Heron Spirit. Please welcome Ken Garkey.
I'm a fan of free verse and haiku, but I will follow form once in a while. Yeah. I'm going to read from my 2 collections, Glass Awash and Heron Spirit. I will start with Glass Awash. You will see beach class. I'm from Western New York, between Niagara Falls and Buffalo, and I would go to Lake Ontario and collect beach glass. So yes, that's where that comes from. And I call this book, I refer to it as a path from loss to recovery, getting past, if you ever get past, the loss of my parents and the end of my first marriage. And coming out on the better side of both of those, I moved here to be with Bonnie. So yeah, that worked out great. All right, words without voice. How do I reconcile thoughts as fantasy, memory and reality, passion with voice, the page as desire, vision disjointed, no oracle, writer, thoughts recede, fade, empty page. Thank you. Thank you. Out of touch. I thought of the future and spoke of the past. Truman Capote, breakfast at Tiffany's. Through a haze that erases possession and masks potential, where is the horizon? I grasp, but find nothing. There is no satisfaction in what is denied. Past and future out of reach, the present slips away with each passing moment. Thank you. Yes, my poetry tends to the short side, except when it's not. And there will be 1 or 2 of those. Cinder and ash. Flames in a frenzy, unlimited resolve with no restraints. Reaching, stroking, caressing, a barrier against the cold. Dancing, flickering, grasping at possibilities among the embers. All of that and more, together in love, now just a memory. Wasted, scattered by careless steps. Cinder and ash. Thank you. Long-term short. Hidden in the pocket of my mother's dreams, surrounded by the accumulated lint of a faded lifetime, are dusty memories, sharper than this morning's breakfast. When her eyes close one final time, will her last vision be of those gathered around, or of those who've peopled her dreams? Thank you. And to get past that, winter garden, spring's promise. Fractals on a winter pane map the choices I face. The surreal landscape of emotions silently sculpted in a long night of loss, barely discernible in its blanket of grief. Memory, the breeze that wends its way through my soul, carries soft echoes of the pain. The changes wrought by winter welcome new growth. Fractals shift, offer a glimpse of a garden waiting for spring. Its colorful promise mine to keep. Joyful, like the seasons I knew before that long winter. Thank you. And then the title poem from Glass Awash. Glass Awash. Edges smooth, rolling, tumbling, luster retrieved, luster restored in the wash of a lapping blue, kissing the sand as it rises, falls with each wave, tumbling again and again, nudged finally to lie beneath the drying sun. From swaying reeds, a redwing remarks on its beauty, soon consumed by a frost. A reminder of each kiss found in grains of sand. So that's Glass Awash. And before I get into Heron Spirit, I'm going to read one poem from what I'm currently working on. I call them random riffs. Traveling back and forth to Buffalo and Cleveland to see my family, my children and my sisters, I started writing poetry while driving. Actually, the first one was I had a song that was playing, and all of a sudden something I was seeing related to the song and thoughts running through my head, and that was the first one. I call them random riffs, and that'll be my next collection. This one, Bonnie and I were driving back from Kansas to visit. We visited her uncle in Great Bend. Now, these poems, I write them to rock, blues, jazz. I've even written one to classical. I have one coming up in Amethyst Review later this month that's classical. This one's not. Leaving Kansas with Jimmy. No cross-town traffic here. We're talking cross-country. Yellow fields on the left, yellow fields on the right. A foot tall and waiting for the chance to be in your next wheat beer. Driving into the morning sun, you thought you were leaving gray skies behind, but when you see that straight and narrow ribbon of a road disappear at the crest of a hill, 4 miles ahead, framed by black sky, punctuated by jagged bolts of lightning, you know there won't be any magic carpet in this electric ladyland. The rain starts slow and lazy at first as Jimmy's guitar dances with a sax. But 5 minutes later, you drive into a rainy day that may as well be a long, hot summer night and wish it was all a daydream. Rain lashes your windshield, and 30 feet is the farthest you can see. So you slow to 30 and hope you're still pointed straight ahead. But then, as if tonight's full moon was turning the tides gently away, you burst through the last of it to find a patch of blue sky as you head out of Kansas, thankful to have all that behind you and looking forward to that beer. Thank you. Yes. Random riff. Now, Heron Spirit, if you look at the cover, yes, that's a great blue heron, and the title came from the fact that many of the poems had herons in it. And this is taken in the Niagara Gorge. The water actually is that blue. That's a couple miles below Niagara Falls. And it's beautiful. I did a lot of things on the Niagara River. Boating, kayaking, scuba diving, riding my bike along the Greenway, sitting on shore writing poetry. It's in my blood. What can I say? It's in my blood. All right. A rake left behind for better things. And yes, it is nature-centric, so, okay. A rake left behind for better things. Elbows grasped tightly about my ears. Little fingers clutching my hair for the anchor it affords, cheek pressed against the top of my head for stability, eyes tearing from his seemingly endless laugh, punctuated only by shrieks of delight as I hold his shins firmly around my neck, dodging and weaving our way across the yard, racing the dog jumping at my feet. His bark, the laugh that first propelled us on the adventures that would end with the three of us wrestling and hugging in the dry leaves of a crisp autumn day. Thank you. Thank you. Waiting for the first leaf. Low-hanging branches, autumn hues, hold no answer. What is to come? Downstream, drought of words, frustration, lack of direction. Floating leaf, repeated in reflection, spins in my wake, going nowhere. I paddle in circles, chase inspiration. Little knowing, it chases me. Thank you. Now, this poem harkens back to the first book, Glass Awash, about my mother. Last light. A trying day pressing close to its end. I watched her sleep, restless for both of us. Eyes closed. Do you see what lies ahead, or a past that is out of reach, but seems closer, the closer you come to being with the one you've held dear? When a calm settles over you, I leave to find my own beside the river. Sun low on the horizon, its rippled reflection is no match for the light that once filled your eyes. In the sun's last light, a cool breeze off the water is no substitute for a mother's caress. Night upon us, I return to your side to face the inevitable, your hand in mine. Thank you. Thank you. Downstream. Paddle slices the surface. Kayak glides. My wake, the only waves visible. Cardinal calls. Turtles bask in morning sun. Eagle lands in towering sycamore. Heron recedes downstream, its wings stately in their slow, steady beat. Rising, falling, subject to season, wings and water as one. Always it flows, meandering as life will do. River holds all and more. Thank you. This is it's a haiku sequence. Raindrop syncopation. Impromptu. Underlying bass from thunder. Random wail as wind whispers, as wind whistles, punctuates. Tree branch sways, washboard staccato, gutter beat. Overflowed, each raindrop succinct in puddle. Reflection in syncopation, lightning arcs. Thank you. And this harkens back to a couple of years ago. Maybe some of you would be familiar with this situation. Fresh air walk during a pandemic. A light rain that would not touch me was followed by sunlight that surrounded me from a respectful distance. Pollen seemed deferential, skirting the edge of the trail with shared concern. Passing hikers offered a simple hello. Birds treated it like any other day, their distance a product of instinct, mine a matter of discretion. A fox watched warily from grass taller than both of us, as if to acknowledge we'd never really meet face to face. Cedar branches swayed in the breeze, flinging leftover rain droplets, a reminder that things could be normal again. The same, but different. When different means an awareness of droplets, and we find new ways to mask our concerns. Thank you. And one of those heron poems. Heron tableau. Its surface polished, nearly silver by weather and time, a fallen tree lies in the creek. Striking a regal pose, black crest trailing behind, a heron stands atop a massive limb that rises from the trunk. My pale attempt at remaining motionless, silent in the silence, earns a studied glance in my direction. Gracefully, effortlessly, defying time with its rhythm, the arc of its wings leaves the branch behind. Sailing past, then turning away, its gray form recedes, graceful in motion, leaving me in true silence. Thank you. Wild stillness. There is no conversation to be had between us, no common ground that would satisfy either of us. You standing tall on a tree extending from the water, fresh catch lying at your feet, while I paddle slowly past, not 30 feet away, looking for some recognition in the eye that follows me as your head turns. Some appreciation for sunlight glinting from the water, or the breeze that lightly ruffles your feathers, yet soothes on this midsummer day. Instead, you bend to retrieve your meal and tilt your head back to shake it down your throat as I paddle out of sight. Thank you. This has an epigraph in the beginning. Beyond these waters, stars open among the lilies. Are you not blinded by such expressionless sirens? This is the silence of astounded souls. Sylvia Plath, Crossing the Water. I look into the depths between the lilies, beyond the darkness, to see the light held by the stars reflected there. There is a sheen in that light, dripping from my fingers as they trail through the water. A light not so distant, not so silent. Its voice calls to me, reminds me that not every siren will lead me to further darkness. That light can conquer shadow. I follow that voice to a current of my own making, away from waters that would stagnate me, would assign me to a place not meant for me. From the surface of these waters to the fish at my fingertips, from the trees on the banks to the land that holds them, there is not one thing that cannot be brought into this light. This sign is not a valedictory. It is a welcoming sight, inviting me to be in the light, astounded by all that I see. Thank you. And I said that I would read a poem or two that are forms. This is a guzzle, and the option of a guzzle is to use your name somehow or some form of your name, reference to your name in the last line, and I've done that too. So, cool for me. All right, where the river bends. Where the river bends, I trail my paddle. Where the river bends, it lends itself to my paddle. On trees long dead rising from the river, turtles scatter, water spatters far from my paddle. Heron on the shore leaps to stately flight as my kayak nears, and it hears my paddle. I turn for home, thankful for all the gifts passed beneath passing oaks as I stroke my paddle. A boat passes, and a fisherman nods his head. I ken as the river bends and raise my paddle. Thank you. And two more poems. This one's a love poem. Moonbeam Picnic. I listen to our shadows on a night picnic, visited by words in raining moonbeams that bring dream sense magic. Giving them our real names, I sing to the stars of my love for you with controlled abandon. What is our image? Poems and the body. Think of them as one, alive on the nights you love me most, over the moon. Thank you. And this last one is a verse epistle. And it's a tribute to the Niagara. I said that it's in my blood, and it is. Fair Niagara. Think that I have not forsaken you. Think not that I have forsaken you, Niagara. These 1,000 miles that separate us cannot deny that you still flow through my veins like a lifeblood. There can be no denying our intimacy, one that reaches back to childhood. Mine, bundled in my parents' arms when I first met you at the edge of your mighty falls. Your childhood, Niagara, lies hidden somewhere in the mists of time. Anguiara, your first people named you. They respected your nature, simple and profound, as they lived and traveled on your waters. The sight of salmon jumping in your gorge and the light of a school of shiners in your clear water takes my breath away. Your warm water rising to meet cool air of an early morning does the same. You cradled me as I swam in your depths beside muskellunge and sturgeon, held me afloat as I paddled your waters in the company of herons and eagles. Niagara, you have been my quiet companion. The many hours I sat by your shore, marveling at your wonder and beauty, contemplating life and the nearness of you. I have heard the majesty of your cataracts, with a rainbow as a crown singing the splendors of nature. I have seen your power and fury on display as you rush through a canyon that would contain you, till you broke free to flow calmly, connecting one inland sea with another. I have watched the sun set over you, enhancing your beauty and glory. Yet while my heart still beats for you, it has answered the call of one most dear who now shares my heart with you. I seek what comfort I can from the rivers and streams of my new home, but they do not run as clear. They do not provide the solace I find in your blue waters, nor do they lessen this great distance between us. Before my time has run its course, I shall return to yours, my fair Niagara. Thank you.